when there was war happening in Greece, right? A soldier ran from a place called Marathon in Greece. He ran from a place called Marathon to Athens to announce the victory in the war. Okay, so Marathon is a place in Greece. He ran from Greece to Athens. He shared the news of victory and he collapsed and died. So that distance between Marathon and Athens is 42.195 kilometers. And that's why this distance is called Marathon.
So Gautham you were sharing about that fundraising you did for the TCS and then some foundations.
Yeah.
So these awards are representation of the same fundraiser?
Yeah, Pankaj, thanks to all the contributors. I mean, it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the contributors, the babies, and Neonates Foundation of India. Incidentally, I've been the highest fundraiser for the last 2 years for the TCS World 10K. 2023, I raised about 10 lakhs. And 2024, again, highest fundraiser. I raised about 11.5 lakh for Neonates Foundation of India and HCG Foundation. This is a testament for the kind of trust my contacts have had in me and contributed to the cause. More than the race medal that you finish, I mean, it matters a lot, but these really mean a lot because it gives you a sense of satisfaction of contributing to the cause. So thanks to all the contributors who have helped me get here.
So wish you all the best for consistency in the highest contributor with the help of all our viewers and the people those are watching this podcast.
Thank you so much.
अपनी प्रतिभाओं के कारण दोस्तों कहा गया है ना कि हम सबको अपने जीवन में अपना पर्पस ढूंढना होता है, अपना जो मोटिव है दोस्तों वो ढूंढना होता है, इस जीवन को हम क्यों जी रहे हैं। दोस्तों एक ऐसा ही व्यक्तित्व हमारे साथ में आज के पॉडकास्ट में है जिन्होंने नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल मैराथन में हिस्सा लिया, और ये मैराथन में हिस्सा ही नहीं लेते दोस्तों, ये मैराथन में दौड़ने के साथ साथ उन लोगों के लिए कुछ करते हैं जिनको शायद बहुत कुछ चीजों की जरूरत है। दोस्तों ये एक ऐसे व्यक्ति हैं जो कि एक मिशन को लेकर के चल रहे हैं, और हमारे देश में ऐसे बच्चे जो कि पैदा होने के पहले जिन्होंने आंखें ही नहीं खोली, उनके लिए दोस्तों कुछ ना कुछ करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। दोस्तों ये फंड रेजिंग का एक काम है जो गौतम CB जो हमारे आज के गेस्ट हैं वो कर रहे हैं, और इसमें दोस्तों उनकी एक ही अपील है कि वो सभी लोगों से कुछ ना कुछ कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए मदद मांगने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। दोस्तों आपका ये जो एक कॉज है, एक जो बहुत बड़ा एक रीजन है जिसके लिए ये मैराथन रन करते हैं, और इसके माध्यम से दोस्तों जो फंड रेज है ऐसे बच्चों के लिए जो नियोनेट्स हैं, जो कि जिंदगी और मौत के बीच में ICU में लड़ रहे हैं किसी न किसी अस्पताल में, उनके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए दोस्तों ये फंड रेज की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आप सभी से निवेदन है कि जितना हो सके इसको सपोर्ट कीजिए। Welcome to Let's Talk Show. Today we have someone very, very special, a person who took a challenge in the life and who is converting what do you call punishment into the passion. Yeah, so we have Mr. Gautham CB, and Gautham ji, I know him very well from last few years, and he has been very, very inspirational to many of us. He has run a lot of international and national marathon. Right. So Gautham ji, welcome to Let's Talk Show, and we would be very much interested, especially for this podcast, to know more about your journey, know more about the cause for which you are really working very hard, and the cause for which we are conducting this podcast today.
Wonderful. Great opportunity, Pankaj ji, and thank you for having me on this show. Just a little brief. I'm a Pakka Bangalorean, Bengaluru Hudga, you may call it.
Okay.
Born, brought up in North Bangalore, Malleshwaram, Matikere and others. But since 2012, I've moved to the south part of Bangalore. I would say more challenging for the runs because of the hilly terrain. So I've been running for about 16 to 17 years now. Just a little rewind. So I was in NCC in Mahavir Jain College. Very lucky to have been there. And so we did the RD parade in Delhi in 1999. And we were a set of four of us from the college for the first time we went to RD. And that actually was a transformational time, I would say, because generally if you think college, you would say, okay, comfort, going out with friends, bunk classes and everything. But our lives in college were very different. Even in the first year of my BSc, I did my BSc Computer Science. I got into NCC, and probably because of my height, I got chosen to be marching in the marching contingent in Karnataka and Kerala group. So in the second year, I was again chosen to be part of the contingent. Lucky to have made it to Republic Day in Delhi. And the journey for the Republic Day was complete ragada, right? Complete punishment. In fact, we remember the saying, which our officers would say, boot or recruit ko jitna ragadoge utna chamkega. I think that's what has happened. So the punishment in NCC, if at all we made any mistake, was to run and touch the wall, which is about 500 meters away. And warm-up was running, cool-down was running. So running was an integral part of the whole training of NCC.
Yeah.
And so that set the platform for running. So that's the base, like you asked me. Just to give a quick intro into my running post the punishment and the passion itself, is that with the recent Boston Marathon, I completed my World Marathon Majors in Boston this year. So it's taken me about 10 years to complete the World Marathon Majors, which are a culmination of 6 very popular runs in the world. These are Chicago, New York, Boston, Berlin, London and Tokyo. So 6 races. Incidentally, only about 140 Indians have managed to complete all the 6. Apart from now, a lot of domestic races that I've participated in. Yeah. That is again not just because of my willingness to participate, but I was part of a group called the Pacemakers, ably coached by Pani sir. Pani sir was our coach. He's our coach rather. So he's a retired Air Force officer. He was in Air Force. He was in sports. He retired. He coached all of us. Got into running from there. The formal training happened there. So that's the journey in terms of the run. Currently, I am for the last 2 international races. I was coached by Ranjini Gupta. She's also helping me currently with my running coaching and others. So it's only because of the passion that you get deeper into it and train. For a living, I work with Sparsh Hospitals. I head the hospital at Hennur Road. I'm the Chief Operating Officer there. At home, my wife supports me a lot for all these insane runs that I do. Bashini is her name. I have 2 kids, Kedar and Vishnu. They've just started school a couple of years ago, and family has been a great support.
Wonderful. So, Gautamji, thank you so much for sharing about your introduction, and I understand that nothing is possible without the support of family. Another important thing, the bigger cause for which you are actually raising the fund for the little ones, who has not yet opened the eyes in the world. I'm first of all very happy to have this podcast with you, and probably destiny or God has chosen both of us to have this podcast to bring this thought in the minds of our viewers and the audience there. Can you please share that thought with all of us? And I would like to bring it as at the center of table to the people. Those are watching this, those are viewing this. They must be very well aware about this. And there are many people who really wanted to do something for the community, and they can be a part of this bigger cause.
Wonderful, Pankaj. While I told you that I started running about 15-16 years ago and completed the World Marathon Majors and others, beyond a point, right? It's the same races that you run, it's the same routes that you run in, the people around you are the same. It definitely gets too monotonous in terms of running. So you need a motivation to run events, right? So having said that, when I was in motherhood, about 2018-19 is when I was there. So I used to see a lot of babies who are premature and who are struggling to survive with a lot of lifestyle. There are a lot of reasons why the prematurity happens. I've seen babies who are 30 weeks and as small as probably your palm, about 600 grams or 700 grams. You feel like crying. I mean, you don't know what to do, because you definitely need blessings from the top to help them survive. It's pretty common nowadays. Like they say, there are about 1,600 babies don't make it every day. But if there was a definitive care that is given, these babies could survive, right? So I've had instances when I was working with motherhood where a good middle class families, one instance specifically I'll narrate. I don't want to name the couple, but they had twins, but both were premature, about 700, 800 grams. It was their intercaste marriage, and they couldn't go back to their families and ask for money, because they married against the will of the family. But there was a situation where they were almost on the verge of selling their entire household, everything to make ends meet for the babies, because NICU treatment itself is expensive. That's when I happened to speak to the parents, and they said, see, if you sell your property, if you sell everything that you have, your lifestyles are compromised. And if you compromise your lifestyle, how will you bring up the child? Because it will compel both the parents to be working for a very long time to make ends meet. So we came up with an idea. With a great reluctance, they agreed to do some kind of crowdsourcing. So we helped them crowdsource through Millap and XYZ. Very happy to let you know that fundraise, we got about 20 lakhs crowdsourced and actually saved the babies. And they didn't have to sell any of the household. So their lifestyle was preserved. They could give the best to the two. Actually, one didn't make it because of health reasons, but the other one is hale and healthy. I met them recently. It's been about 6 years now. The child is running around like a normal child. So it's very gratifying when you see these. So neonates care itself is very close to my heart. So in the last 7 years, I've started fundraising for various causes. I started with very small amounts. I was very scared to get into this, because what if people don't give another? So first effort was to raise about 10,000 rupees for Indian Cancer Society. So we raised that. I was very pleased that people came forth to support and contributed 10,000. Now I think of it, 10,000 was pretty small. But then got to the next level. I took a challenge under the TCS World 10K race itself. For Ankura Foundation, I took a target of 1 lakh. That again, good people like you contributed. Right? There are people to give, but you need to ask, they will give. Was my faith that I had. So Ankura Foundation, I raised that 1 lakh, so I was very happy. 2 years continuously raised for Ankura Foundation, was very pleased. And in the last 2 years, that is 23 and 24 TCS World 10K, Neonates Foundation of India is the NGO that I have been raising for, and very, very, very fortunate that the last 2 years I raised about 10 lakhs and 11 lakhs respectively. And the amount of work that Neonates Foundation of India does for the underprivileged premature babies is fantastic. This money was used to save about 7 or 8 kids each year. So I'm very pleased that through my run and through the fundraising, about 14 or 15 babies have been saved in the last 2 years. I have this principle: don't hesitate to ask, because there are people to give. Right? If you're shy and you don't ask, you will not get. But हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, पूछने में क्या जाता है. So I put in all the efforts to seek help for these causes, and God's been kind. People have been kind, like you. They've contributed. This year is the 3rd year I'm raising for Neonates Foundation of India under the aegis of the TCS World 10K run in April 2025. So I've taken a challenge of 20 lakhs as the goal, which probably could save about 15 or 16 babies, premature babies. So I, through your channel, podcast, I appeal to individuals and corporates. If they can help the cause, I'm sure the link will be available in the post that you do. In any form, in any amount, and every drop makes an ocean. So would be great if any contribution is coming towards the Neonates Foundation of India fund, and maybe, God willing, not 20 but 30, 40 lakhs could be raised.
Wonderful. So I remember there is a saying which says that convert your passion into your purpose. And probably the people like you in the society and the community, those are able to see their purpose along with the passion. So running is your passion, and the purpose, which is the bigger goal, you are helping so many lives to be saved. Right? That's the bigger purpose. I would request and urge each and everyone, those are viewing this, listening this conversation today, please come forward and help the foundation to raise fund as much as possible. Right, like Gautham ji has already said that each and every drop is really important to make an ocean. Right. So requesting each and everyone to please come forward, and I am really fortunate enough to have this conversation on my podcast.
No, absolutely, it's such a pleasure.
Yeah. So now coming back to our important, another discussion. That what makes you to run? There are many people. Right, they come, they do their job, come back to their home, and while coming back to their home, they are busy into their own, life, hustle, bustle, and everything. How do you get time to, to run? Maybe probably once in a week or twice in a week. I see people are really passionate about that. So help, all our viewers, so that they can find out something, take out some time from their daily routine, and your thoughts on this.
Well, Pankaj, everybody has the same 24 hours, right? It seems unusual to our lifestyles that you need to put that effort for any kind of physical activity or exercise. But if you look at the world outside, probably the subcontinent, it's part of their lifestyle, right? No wonder India is the capital of diabetes and lifestyle disorders and others. That's because of our lifestyles. Of late, in the last 15-20 years, the kind of quality of food grains, the kind of eating habits have changed phenomenally. and a lot more sedentary lifestyle. So to counter that, it's very important for us to be engaged in some kind of physical activity. My motivation is to one, stay healthy, also because it's an investment. It's the only thing that I probably give back to my family. I don't know how much money I'll give back to my kids in terms of accumulation of wealth, but I really don't want to be a burden to my kids when I grow old with the lifestyle disorders. So my very close friend, my best friend who's in the US, he's been my inspiration. So he knows that his hereditary there is diabetes as such, but he's adapted his lifestyle so much that he's fittest among all of us. So there is a leaf that I take from there. It's happened with me only. At the age of about 26, 25, 26, 2006 or aspas, I was having hypertension, high BP, cholesterol and others. That was actually my wake-up call. I still remember when the cardiologist said, Gautham, you need to take Natrelix SR forever because my cholesterols were high and others. I took it because doctors recommended we need to take it. But then after some time I realized, is this the lifestyle that I need to lead? I had a little healthy body, paunch and others at 25, 26. We don't really care about exercise so much. But that actually was a trigger for me. So I started running small running distances. They used to be in the same event. This is the enthusiast 10K. Erstwhile it was called Sunfeast 10K. There used to be a category called Maja Run. It's still there. The shorter distance, about 4 or 5K. So we used to practice for about 2 months for running a 5K. Just imagine our fitness levels. We used to participate. Abhijit, my friend, and myself used to run together. So that was actually a trigger. So I changed my lifestyle, the eating habits. Running became more regular. In about 6 months or 9 months or something, my BP was normal, my cholesterol was okay, manageable. So with doctor's permission, I stopped my medicine. So I realized that if I don't make these lifestyle modifications, I'll be a slave to the lifestyle disorders. And I also learned that my coach Gladson, one of the sessions that he had, he told us that all these are lifestyle disorders and not diseases. How do you make the disorders in order? By lifestyle modifications, and exercise is extremely important. Right, so with all this, the disorder became an orderly thing. So that's where the whole fitness began. And for me specifically, for however long I can, I should be able to do a 10K any day I get up. And so that's the definition of fitness for me. It is more running oriented, but more so in the current lifestyle context, across age groups and across genders. It's very important to be fitness focused. Fitness is not just running. It could be yoga, it could be some bit of strengthening, body strength activities. But it's very important for everybody to be engaged in some physical strengthening activity, especially as you age. A lot of these issues come because your muscle loss is great as you age, especially in women. So it's very important for us to be investing in fitness, in some form of fitness. Again, Dr. Gladson says, running is an activity. It is not a fitness it's not an exercise. It's an activity because it is a impact sport. Football is an impact sport, but you need to do exercise to be able to do the sport. So strengthening everything is important for across age groups and the genders.
I met one doctor in Indore. He is a marathon runner. He always used to say, if you run for life, life will run for you.
Absolutely.
So Gautam ji, next question is very much important. Share something about the preliminary information about the marathon. What is the setup of marathon? How many kilometers? How many people? What is the fitness requirement for the marathon?
Okay. The word marathon is the specific distance, Pankaj. 42.195 kilometers is a marathon. Anything lesser or anything more is not a marathon. Anything lesser is just the distance that is spoken. So the word marathon means 42.195. A lot of people use 5K marathon, 10K marathon, which cannot be used. It is either a 5K run or a 10K run or a half marathon. Half marathon is exactly half of
Full marathon.
Full marathon, right? Marathon means it's a full marathon. The history goes like this. When there was war happening in Greece, right? A soldier ran from a place called Marathon in Greece. He ran from a place called Marathon to Athens to announce the victory in the war. Okay, so Marathon is a place in Greece. He ran from Greece to Athens. He shared the news of victory and he collapsed and died. So that distance between Marathon and Athens is 42.195 kilometers. And that's why this distance is called marathon. So marathon as such is this distance. So anything less than this cannot be called a marathon, right? So, but it is quite a distance, right? 42.195 kilometers for somebody who's not trained is dangerous. So I wouldn't recommend anybody just to go and try running a marathon without training. You need up to about 6 months, probably 1 year if you don't have fitness levels, probably a little more to train for a full marathon, right? My recommendation is to anybody who's wanting to run a race, either a 10K or a half or a full, cannot just overnight get up and start running, right? There needs to be a systematic plan, not just a running plan, but also a lot of strengthening plan. Because like I told you earlier, running is an impact sport, right? It actually does a lot more damage to the body than you think, because you're pounding continuously, and generally if you see the body structure, there are smaller muscle groups at the lower part of the body. As you go up, it becomes big, right? So when you're running certain distances, your body, your lower part of the body is not equipped to handle such stress. Your heart is not equipped to handle such stress. Your core is not equipped. So it's very important for you to train the body to sustain these distances. We do long runs. So basically in the training what happens is, especially what I follow, I do 2 or 3 runs a week only, because I don't run every day. The other 3 or 4 days I engage in strengthening. So it could be core strengthening, it could be upper body strengthening, it could be lower body strengthening. You might ask, what is upper body got to do with running? Because running is involved with your legs, right? But your upper body actually, when you're running, you propel yourself with your hands. And I've had so much pain in my left arm when I finish a full marathon. It's unexplainable. That's because my arms are not as strong as legs. So you need to strengthen the whole body, right? You need to strengthen your shoulders, because there are so many things that can happen in that journey of 42.195 kilometers. So for anybody who's taking up to run a full marathon, I would suggest you start with smaller distances. Okay, you take good amount of time do a 10K, graduate to a half marathon, be comfortable in half marathon, then graduate slowly to a full marathon. So that's the plan. My friend came up with a concept called FDI. This applies to any form of fitness, especially running. F means frequency, D is duration, and then I is intensity, FDI. So this was taught by my friend, which I told you, who was in Boston. So what this concept is, first you make sure your frequency is fixed. Don't attack everything at once. Take one piece at a time. So have frequency that is built in your schedule, right? So 4 days, you get to waking up early in the morning, fixing, even if it is a short duration, 15 minutes, build in the frequency. Then once the frequency is set, work on the duration. 15 minutes को आप 45 minutes करना है, 30 minutes करना है, जो भी है. So once the frequency is set, increase the duration. Then duration is also set. F and D is done. Then you look at increasing the intensity of the workout. So if I relate that to run, you may want to do 2 kilometers a day for 3 days. Fix that 3 days. Just run 2 kilometers. Just wake up 2 kilometers. Do some stretching and other things. Then 2 kilometers को आप 3 kilometers या 5 kilometers करो. That is the duration. You increase the duration without looking at a pace. You don't need to be 2 kilometers. You don't need to go all out and do it fast. Do it slow, right? Duration हो गया. Then you look at building an intensity for a run. उसी 3 or 5 kilometers को, how can you improve your pace? Right? So attack it in this FDI format is what I like the concept. I try to follow.
Very interesting.
Now with every break in fitness or running, sometimes depending on the calendar of the year, summers you don't run too much because running competitions are also less. So you take a back seat. But when you come back, it is like, am I the same Gautham who did a Boston Marathon is the question that we ask, because the fitness levels would have gone down. It's quite natural. So you follow this FDI process. Now that I shifted back from Ahmedabad to Bangalore, I took a break. Now I'm coming back to training. So my first attack was to make sure I close all the rigs continuously for a few days on my Apple Watch. Then build duration, increase the duration. What I started with 20 minutes, I can stretch up to 1 hour. Then I do faster runs. So there's something called an interval training in the running training. I build intensity, I can run faster. So that's the approach that one needs to do. But I would advise everybody to start very slow and build up intensity later. One thing which helped during my training with Panisar and Pacemaker was that while he would have a 3-day schedule, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or Sunday, all we had to do is land up there, right? Consistency. Just all you have to do is be present at Kantirva Stadium at 5 a.m. Rest will be taken care of. There's a huge improvement in all our performances. And Atomic Habits is all about that, right?
James Clear.
Yeah, James Clear. He says small incremental 1% will lead you to a huge change. Exactly, it applies in all walks of life, especially in fitness and activity.
Very nice.
All we had to do was be present there for fitness. Rest Panisar will take care. Was our confidence, and that's how we improved all our performances. But the best part is this can be done by everybody. And it's not that only Gautham or Pankaj can do, but everybody can get to a good fitness level. All they need to do is be consistent.
Very nice. Another very important aspect of this fitness, running, consistency, FDI is really important. Another second aspect of it, which is I think very much linked with all this, the food habit. Share something about the food habit of that person who is training himself or herself, especially for this, because eating a lot of the junk food, eating a lot of the butter, eating a lot of, because people are, this tongue is the enemy of all the internal organs. This is what the people used to say.
Not just the tongue, but the mind also.
Yeah.
Just to add, Pankajji, I mean, see, there are various parallels of diet advices everybody gives.
Yeah.
The West eats very differently.
Yeah.
In India, every state has a different food eating habit. But what I follow personally is, yes, I'm a vegetarian for that matter. I don't eat meat. I try to include a lot more protein because it needs for muscle recovery. I eat eggs. But my plan may not suit somebody else because they might not even eat eggs.
Yeah.
But the best, what I've seen, is to stick to what our family eats, in the sense of what our ancestors would eat, right? But moderate or measure the quantities that we eat, right? You can't be eating 100% stomach full at all the 3 meals and include a snack in between and others, because your system also needs time to digest and be ready for the next day, next day run. So what I follow is, especially, I don't know if it is a post-40 phenomenon, I don't feel like eating heavy breakfast. I mean, it's personal. Some people say have a heavy breakfast, moderate lunch, and very small dinner. But for me, I love running empty stomach, and I love being light till the afternoon lunch. So what I follow is, my run happens, I eat 3 boiled eggs in the morning. So protein is taken care, and again, I'm not very empty stomach for a very long time. I eat a moderate lunch, moderate dinner. In between, I don't snack too much, but I drink a lot of water. That's helped me. But again, yes, you have to cut down on portions and strictly no for junk. Probably a cheat day, once or twice a month is okay. But it has to go hand in hand. Diet and exercise are hand in hand. It's like 2 hands without which you can't clap. Only diet, no exercise doesn't take you anywhere. Only exercise, no diet, you will not be able to improve. You will not be getting to your optimized weight. So it has to be balanced. Most important, it's not just the 2, it's very important to get good sleep. Sleep is extremely important, because it's only when you sleep, your muscles recover, you get ready for the next day's activity. Personally, if given a choice, I sleep at about 9:30. And I'm an early riser. My alarm is set for about 4:30 in the morning. But to get up at 4:30, I need to have early dinner, early sleep. So it's a cycle, right? I've seen a lot of people come home, have dinner at about 10:30, 11, sleep at insane time, or have dinner at 10:30, sleep at 11. Also doesn't work, because you need to give that much time. So I prefer having early dinner, early sleep, and get up early.
So today you are revealing a lot of facts about marathon and running, and I don't know how many people will get really inspired, but thank you so much for sharing about all this.
It's a pleasure.
So my next question is, share about the most challenging and the difficult experience in running the marathon, which you have gone through and you overcome over a period of time.
Okay, so from the full marathon perspective, there have been, marathon is such a distance that everything is challenging. You start with a good frame of mind, but the challenges thrown at us en route is every race has its own challenge. Because what happens is, the body is okay till about 30 kilometers. If you've trained well, about 35, at the time of 35, you generally tend to hit a ball. That's what they say. But it's all about managing the distance, managing the pace, and how you finish at a high, or finish strong is what they say, right? So it's all about how do you finish strong. But if you've trained well, you plan the race well, it goes on extremely well. Typically, if you are overconfident in some time, which I have been in a couple of races, you go out very fast initially, then you don't have energy for the second half of the race. It's happened. But there are a lot of factors. The weather plays a huge role. Sun, humidity plays a huge role. Typically in India, we are used to starting races at 4:35 in the morning, and in about 2.5-3 hours, the sun rises. It's okay, you finish. But the temperatures are pretty warm even at 4:35. Take an example of Tata Mumbai Marathon. You start at about 4:30. It's pretty hot. It's about 20 degrees, but the sun is not out, and you're used to getting up early. You finish the race. But when you do the World Marathon Majors, the races start at about 10:30, 11. So it is a completely a different shift, running outside, because it's cold there. So that's why they start late. But for us in India who have trained to get up early and do it, it's a shift, because at 10:30 you would have finished the race in Bangalore or in India, and you're ready for breakfast. There you have to fuel before the run, which starts at 10:30. So that's a little shift, but a lot of planning needs to go in, from a diet perspective, what to wear, because here you know that you wear a singlet, sleeveless t-shirt, shorts, you run, you finish and come. Outside it's cold. If it's sub 10 degrees centigrade, you need to practice like that. And you don't have a situation in India to practice wearing one full sleeve, on that another t-shirt. So you're not used to such things. So it's important to go a little earlier to wherever the
So if you go through your memory lane, what comes in front of you that this was the most challenging one?
So all, like I told you, all 6 have been challenging. But so I'll categorize into 2: challenging and disappointing, challenging and happy.
Okay.
Challenging and disappointing, I would say it was the London Marathon. So just before the London Marathon, I had some hamstring issues. I had to really work on the hamstring issues. So I was not completely fit. We landed in London in 2018. I remember this. And it was extremely hot. So it was close to about 17, 18 degrees, and imagine starting the race at 10:30. So I was overconfident. I thought, okay, everything is fine. I started fast. The first half of the run till the Tower Bridge, I went off extremely fast, which I did a mistake. But the second half, I literally limped and walked and completed. So that was challenging and disappointing. Challenging and happy was the recent Boston Marathon. Picture perfect. Again, it started at 11, but I ran a very consistent race. The challenge in Boston for everybody is that at about 27 kilometers, till about 27 kilometers, it's like a downhill, right? 27 to 30 something, 34 or something like that, the hills start. So there are 4 hills that you need to, it's not exaggerated hills, but it's actually called a Heartbreak Hill. The last hill is called a Heartbreak Hill in Boston, and that's named because it breaks everybody's heart because it's pretty steep. So if you've run the first 27 kilometers extremely fast, which is downhill, which is putting a load on the hamstring, the rest of the hills, it goes for a toss. So it's actually challenging. But the way that I trained along with the coach Ranjini Gupta, she also ran, by the way. So the way we planned was every 5 kilometers we knew exactly what to do. So when we came to the hills, we were prepared, right? So it was challenging, but when you finish the hills, when you get to the finish line, it is awesome. So challenging and happy, and especially super thrilled because Boston was the culmination of the World Marathon Majors for me. And Boston as such is the oldest running marathon in the world. 128 years of history. No other marathon beats this. So finishing the World Marathon Majors there was extremely special for me. And it's taken about 10 years to start, from start to finish. My whole family was there, so challenging and extremely happy.
Amazing. My next question is, what impact on all those activities on the overall the life of a person when it comes to the leadership as a human being?
Extremely good question, Pankaj. Running itself makes you a very adaptable person. And running a marathon makes you even adaptable because you're open to any kind of challenge. I mean, it's not just the race day, but the training that you need to put in needs a lot of dedication, needs a lot of planning, needs a lot of backup plans because nothing will go right. So specifically in Bangalore, on a training day, half of the year it's raining, drizzling and everything. So you're ready to face those challenges. And the preparation that you need to even train, not just the final run, needs a lot of planning. And I can relate that to work, right? In my mind, I'm like, okay, this is plan A. If this doesn't work, plan B. If doesn't work, plan C. And you're ready with these. But the objective is to run. And you know that there will be failures, so you're open to ups and downs, right? And it teaches you a lot of patience. When you're running longer distance, even a half marathon, it takes 2 hours to 4 hours. 2 hours for a half marathon, 4 hours for a full probably. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of commitment, right? And I can relate that to my work. Right, probably because of NCC, running and others, you become that much stoic. Right, you don't overtly react to a lot of situations. So probably that's the kind of takeaways from run.
Very nice. Very nice.